Massive budget down there in LSU, no doubt about it, Joe. But
I just want to bring in. He's very close to Eddie O, too.
Yeah.
And Eddie O, potentially, it said he would, love a return. You bring that type of talent, another major recruiter.
Yes.
And Ed Ogeron back to Baton Rouge. You're going to have a fantastic NFL caliber type of staff, and they're going to hit the ground running week number 1 come 2026.
SportsGrid's College Football Today.
I think this is a very tough one. I haven't bet this because I still think it's that close. I would lean towards the sentiment of the voter body instead of the anointing of the new star. But at a certain point, the next 2 weeks, Drake May could be undeniable. It's really interesting market right for those two. And remember when Matthew Stafford wasn't going to play all year? Remember in August where he wasn't practicing and now he is number 2 for MVP. So go figure.
Fantasy Sports Today, only on SportsGrid.
You're legendary. I'm legendary. And both of these guys love each other. Right? Cam Ward, they do. They work out. Legendary.
Go ahead.
Cam Ward.
Yep.
Shedeur Sanders.
Yep.
250 plus and 2 tutties each.
Amazing. That's nuts.
What? Why is it nuts?
Come on, that's crazy.
Why, though?
Pro Football Today, only on SportsGrid.
we just can't quit Josh Allen. He's at a 16% chance. And then the Baltimore Ravens. Ooh, don't count Lamar out. The Indianapolis Colts and Daniel Jones and Shane Steichen. And then there's those Kansas City Chiefs. But I got to tell you, Joe, you see how we're going lower and lower on this list right here? I'm telling you, a nice little wild card down there. You plunk $100 back and get paid $1,429 back on Houston Texans.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
Welcome to another edition of the Craig Carton Show. Tyrone A. Johnson here, as always. Well, it's officially a wrap, right? It's official. It's mathematical. However you want to cross your I's and dot your T's. The Kansas City Chiefs are done. The dynasty is a wrap. The only sad thing about it to me, because I get great joy out of Kansas City being eliminated and the dynasty being over and the rebuild beginning now, I get no joy out of the fact that Patrick Mahomes goes down with a torn ACL. Yeah. Nobody roots for that. Nobody wants that. You want them to lose on merit. They were losing anyway when he got hurt. I don't care what Chiefs fans have to say. He was going to lead us down the field. You scored 13 points with him on the field. So you can't predict that all of a sudden he was going to pull Mahomes' magic out of his ass in that final drive where Minshew throws the final interception that ends the Chiefs' season. But there's so much more to enjoy about the end of the dynasty. And once again, Mr. Tough Guy himself, with no class at all, Travis Kelce, refuses to talk to the media after another bad loss. Here's the question I have. For a guy that claims he's all about his teammates, and a guy that claims he wants to go out there, put that uniform on, and do the best he can, regardless of the playoffs now being out of their reach, I think Travis Kelce doesn't play another game for the Kansas City Chiefs.
You think he's going to shut it down?
I think Travis Kelce shuts it down. Now, the question then becomes, what do you read into that? If he does shut it down and doesn't play the final 3 weeks because there's nothing to play for, it shows a total disregard for the Kansas City Chief fan base, who have already bought their tickets to how many home games they got left?
One.
Double check that for me. One more home game.
Christmas night.
Okay, so to me, you got to get your ass out of that field and play.
Of course.
And that becomes kind of the fun little side story now with the Kansas City Chiefs. Does Kelce play out the string? And what does it mean if he does or he doesn't? I think his career is over. I think you agree with me on that.
Yeah.
It seemed like he got himself in the greatest shape he could to go into the season, the way it ended with that terrible Super Bowl performance where he was in no man's land for the majority of the game. But now you've got much bigger questions in Kansas City, because while there is some historical reference of NFL players, namely quarterbacks, coming back quicker than other positions come back from the torn ACL, it's highly unlikely that Mahomes is ready to go September 1, but very likely he's ready to go October 1.
Oh, yeah.
Depending on when he has the surgery.
Absolutely.
That's just me being honest and fair and objective about it.
Yep.
But next year's season is now in doubt, because you don't know today exactly when Patrick Mahomes is going to be playing quarterback for the Kansas City Chiefs or how long it takes him to get up to speed physically to play quarterback next year. So this year's over. The dynasty is over. And now next year is in doubt. I think we've seen the last of Travis Kelce. I don't think Travis Kelce puts on pads ever again. I think he cowardly slinks off into the sunset with his fiance and all of his media obligations and opportunities, and good for him. But I think you're going to see the real Travis Kelce, which you have seen the last 2 weeks after these bad losses, where he no-shows the media. And by the way, the Kansas City media, all they do is kiss his ass. So the fact that he no-showed the media last week and no-showed the media yesterday tells me we have now seen the last of Travis Kelce, and I don't think he does the right thing by Chiefs fans. I hope he does. I hope he's in the lineup on Christmas Day. I hope he goes out there for one more home game for the Chiefs fans who've supported him, deserve to see that. But you got bigger problems. Isaiah Pacheco's not coming back next year.
Nope.
Highly unlikely Kareem Hunt's coming back next year. You don't have a quarterback to start off the season next year. And then comes the Andy Reid question. And I think it's a good question. He did sign a 5-year, $100 million extension. He is signed for 3 more seasons as of right now with the Kansas City Chiefs. But is Andy Reid going to come back and coach the Chiefs without Patrick Mahomes?
Yes.
Is he?
And here's why I think he will.
Because I don't think Travis Kelce's coming back.
No, Travis Kelce
right?
isn't coming back.
And I know Pacheco ain't coming back. I don't think Hunt's coming back.
I don't think they want Pacheco back.
I know Chris Jones will come back. He's under contract.
Yep.
He's at the end of his career. But if you're in Kansas City right now, you are looking at a complete rebuild. And you have no cap space whatsoever. You've not done a good job acquiring talent that apparently was going to make a difference, because the guys that Veach did acquire have not made a difference.
They have not drafted
all that
well.
speed I keep hearing about, they never use it, right? Defensively, they're not great. They're good. They're not great. Their offensive line stinks, and they have no money available right now under the cap. I know that can change, restructure some contracts. Mahomes redoes his deal yet again, and they'll open up some space.
Yeah.
But right now, I think there's a chance you lose Andy Reid. I think there's a chance you lose Steve Spagnuolo to a head coaching opportunity in the NFL this offseason. I think Kelce's gone, and you don't know when Patrick Mahomes is coming back. And let's just for a minute enjoy this Christmas gift that we've all gotten a couple weeks early. Let's enjoy the fact that this postseason, there'll be no Patrick Mahomes, no Joe Burrow. After tonight's game, no Aaron Rodgers. Let's enjoy the fact that there's going to be some new blood and some new heroes will be made.
No, that part is tremendous.
Yeah. Hanukkah started last night. What a gift.
Yeah.
What a gift if you're Jewish last night and you hate the Kansas City Chiefs and you're tired of all the nonsense with Kansas City. Fantastic. The first night of Hanukkah. And we get the gift of all gifts. I get 7 more gifts coming my way.
You do.
Because it's 8 crazy nights. But on night 1 of Hanukkah, I get the Chiefs being eliminated, the end of the Kelce era, and possibly the end of the Reid Mahomes era as well.
No, that is true. L'chaim to all my friends
Thank
out
you.
there. L'chaim.
Yeah.
Now, the one thing I'll push back on, though, as far as the gift is, and you mentioned it, I hate that Mahomes got hurt.
As do I.
That's the part
no
that
joy in
ruins,
Mudville.
Right, because I was feeling really good about this because I'm tired of them. I still think they stole one of their Super Bowls from the Eagles with crooked refs. So I don't have any love for them.
You didn't like the Bradbury Holden call?
I didn't like that all game. That wasn't a hold. Then late it was. But the Mahomes part throws it off for me because it's almost like it gives all those fans an out. Because they are saying what you mentioned. He was going to come back, then they were going to win the game, and they were going to rally. They're saying it, and now that
they haven't done it all year, by the way.
They have not.
They only scored 13 points yesterday, but they were going to come back and win that game. They weren't. They're
wrong.
not a good football team.
They're wrong, but it left that crack. So I hate him being hurt, and then I hate that the fans now have that little itty bit.
Right, if he didn't get hurt. If what? Dude, you're 2 games under 500. The Chargers defense isn't great either. And you were in your building, and you scored 13 points.
I agree.
Like, there's nothing to brag about. There's nothing to tell me if he didn't get hurt. What? He wasn't hurt the entire season, and you were a 500 football team. And it shows you that last year, without the referees, obviously they don't get to the level they got, which was the Super Bowl. They won 12 consecutive one-score games, and when the refs stopped calling things their way, they became mortal. They are Superman with a big hunk of green kryptonite around their necks. That's what they are. And let's just call it the way it is. The dynasty is over. I think they're in full rebuild mode right now. Obviously, he's going to come back. Every player these days comes back from a torn ACL. We'll wait to see, if there's other aspects of the knee that got injured as well. But the ACL is the worst one, obviously, and it is a year injury. I mean, we've seen it a million times. It's essentially a full year now. We've seen quarterbacks come back a little bit earlier, and I'll give him that grace. He apparently does heal fast based on past injuries.
Yeah.
But, he's not starting next season. Meaning you've got a lot of major question marks if you're the Kansas City Chiefs for the first time in almost a decade.
Oh, yeah.
They won't be the favorites next year.
No.
They're not guaranteed to make the playoffs next year. You don't have a real quarterback on your roster. Not fair to, to criticize Minshew. It's the first pass he's thrown, in how many in a year, right? So I'm not going to beat him up after the bad interception trying to throw the ball to Kelsey for the 5th consecutive time on that final drive. But it's over. It's a wrap. I don't want to hear the comparisons to Brady tearing his ACL when he was 30 and winning 4 more Super Bowls.
But he did it week 1.
Right. He came back the very next year, the start of the year.
Right.
So, look, just come to terms with it. Come to terms with it. We're looking for a new king, a new person to pull Excalibur out of the rock. Because the Chiefs are now not just done for this year. That became official yesterday. They're done for a while. They're done. They're not going to the Super Bowl next year either.
Of course
That's
not.
a bad football team. And there's no reason to think they're going to get any better. Coming up, Bills Patriots. What did we learn from that doozy yesterday? And happy Hanukkah and upcoming Merry Christmas to everybody.
Massive budget down there in LSU, no doubt about it, Joe. But
I just want to bring in, he's very close to Eddie O, too.
Yeah.
And Eddie O potentially had said he would, love a return. You bring that type of talent, another major recruiter.
Yes.
And Ed Ogeron back to Baton Rouge. You're going to have a fantastic NFL caliber type of staff, and they're going to hit the ground running week number 1 come 2026.
SportsGrid's College Football Today.
I think this is a very tough one. I haven't bet this because I still think it's that close. I would lean towards the sentiment of the voter body instead of the anointing of the new star. But at a certain point, the next 2 weeks, Drake May could be undeniable. It's really interesting market right for those two. And remember when Matthew Stafford wasn't going to play all year? Remember in August where he wasn't practicing and now he is number 2 for MVP. So go figure.
Fantasy Sports Today, only on SportsGrid.
You're legendary. I'm legendary. And both of these guys love each other. Right? Cam Ward, they do. They work out. They work out. Legendary.
Go ahead.
Cam Ward.
Yep.
Shedeur Sanders.
Yep.
250 plus and 2 tutties each.
Amazing. That's nuts.
What? Why is it nuts?
Come on, that's crazy.
Why, though?
Pro Football Today, only on SportsGrid.
We just can't quit Josh Allen. He's at a 16% chance. And then the Baltimore Ravens. Ooh, don't count Lamar out. The Indianapolis Colts and Daniel Jones and Shane Steichen. And then there's those Kansas City Chiefs. But I got to tell you, Joe, you see how we're going lower and lower on this list right here? I'm telling you, a nice little wild card down there. You plunk $100 back and get paid $1,429 back on Houston Texans.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
All right, welcome back to the Craig Carton Show. Tyron Johnson here as well. So the Chiefs are done. We'll worry about the Kelsey stuff later on. My gut is that you don't see him suit up ever again and doesn't do the right thing by the fans. But, yeah, I've been wrong before, and I'll eat it if I'm wrong on that. Then you have the game that had 2 games within 1 yesterday, Bills and Patriots, right?
Yeah.
So 21-0 out of the chute. My man, New England, Drake May runs a couple in, and it looks like it was not a fluke that New England beat Buffalo earlier this year. Again, my rub on New England has been they have only a single win all year against a winning team. And that win was earlier this year against the Buffalo Bills. And they staked themselves to a 3-touchdown lead in that game. And then all of a sudden, the second half kickoff is a great return, sets the Bills up, bing, bang, boom, touchdown only a couple minutes in to the third quarter. And momentum went the entire other way. And now watching the game going, man, when the Bills play like that in the second half, they might win a Super Bowl.
They could beat anybody playing like that.
But when New England plays like that in the first half, they might win a Super Bowl. So I don't know what the hell to do now. They're both playoff teams. They're both a problem for everybody else in the AFC if they play the way they played for 30 minutes. Now, when New England plays the way they played in the second half, that's a one-and-done postseason proposition. Mm-hmm. If Buffalo plays the way they played in the first half, they're one and done. But, man, the first half for New England, the second half for Buffalo, and obviously they're starkly contrasted against each other. I don't know what I'm looking at, but I loved watching that game. Because we said here on Friday, man, that spread didn't make any sense.
It makes sense.
You know, New England's already beaten Buffalo. The game's in New England. Why in the world is Buffalo favored? And the spread went up. It went to 2.5, I saw, by kickoff. And we sat here. Now, we got the Green Bay-Denver game wrong. Same exact logic.
Right.
At least I got it wrong. But I did think that Buffalo was going to win that game.
Parsons goes down in that game. That changed the whole dynamic
but
in
I
the
give
first
Denver
half.
credit. I thought Denver was great yesterday.
They were.
But I'm trying to figure out now, how good is New England? How good is Buffalo? Like right now today, I'm thinking about it. If I had to pick one clear-cut team in the AFC to beat after yesterday's action, I think it's the Denver Broncos.
That's who you would pick.
Yeah.
I would pick the Texans.
Well, I've been hot on the Texans. I can't pick the Texans yet.
The reason I would is Stroud finally looked good.
Yeah.
3 touchdowns
Look,
yesterday.
they beat a bad team that did what they were supposed to do. They're in the playoffs now with the 7 seed. And I can tell you this right now. If you're the 2 seed and you're getting the Houston Texans, if it ended the way it is right now today.
Yeah, that'd be the Patriots.
And that's most likely the way it's going to end. The only thing left for me is it going to be Pittsburgh or Baltimore in tonight's game? Obviously goes a long way to decide that. Also, Miami could get to 500. But to me, you do not want to be the team that has to play the Houston Texans in the first round. And I don't care if that game's in your building. Defenses travel.
Well, as of right now, that would be the Patriots.
Yes, that's my point.
In their first playoff game in a long time.
And I would take the Houston Texans if they played head-to-head. Matter of fact, I'm going to take the Houston Texans over every team in that first round, depending on where their seed is. Because the Houston Texans defense is the best defense in all football right now.
It is.
They're dominating opposing quarterbacks. C.J. Stroud, like you said, it's looked finally back.
That's what he's looking.
That offense looked right. Like he hits Nico Collins, in rhythm a couple times. That first touchdown pass on that slant. And I'm saying to myself, kind of like the Rams last year. Right? So the Rams win the first game. They go to Philly. They damn near beat Philly in the snowstorm in Philly. They just needed like an extra 20 seconds. I think the Texans are this year's Rams from last year.
Yeah,
I don't think anyone wants the Texans.
I could buy that. And it's crazy, though, because we don't know. And that's the good thing about the Chiefs being out. Is now we don't know. If Chiefs were in, we have to make them the favorites because of the
because of experience, right? And they have won the 1 year as a wild card. They went on the road. They beat Baltimore. They beat the Bills.
Right.
They took care of business on the road too. But they're out. They don't exist right now.
So it makes it wide open.
They've been eliminated.
They have been eliminated. They have been eliminated.
I'm going to enjoy that all day. I'm not going to lie to you. All day, I'm going to enjoy that. You know what else I'm going to enjoy? I'm going to enjoy sad Joe Burrow. I'm going to enjoy sad Joe Burrow. Right. So Joe Burrow has that dopey press conference last week.
Not having fun.
Like, if the game isn't fun, why am I doing it? And I explained to everybody, for the $250 million you have coming in guaranteed. That's why you're doing it. And it seemed like that, sourpuss attitude infected the Bengals throughout the entire game. They stunk against a Ravens team that has not been great this year, and they get shell-shocked 24-zip against Baltimore. Like, everybody scores against Baltimore, and Joe Burrow is terrible. And then here's sad sack Joe Burrow. I think we have it. After an embarrassing performance yesterday. Play Joe Burrow.
Yeah, when your quarterback plays like that, your team's not going to have a chance to win. So that one's on me. Obviously disappointed in my play today, so I got to be better.
Oh,
Oh.
poor Joe.
Oh,
Joe.
Joe Burrow did play like crap yesterday. He did. Another pick. The offense looks terrible. He looked terrible. And it looked like he just went right from that press conference of last week into the game miserable. I mean, that's the way it seemed. And look, Joe Burrow is not going to retire. That's only Andrew Luck does that. But I think Joe Burrow is telling everybody, without using the words, get me out of Cincinnati. I said it last week. I will say it again. That's a dude who is done playing for the Cincinnati Bengals. He's done. Now, he's not going to be stupid and come out and go, I want out of Cincinnati after, A, they give him all the money, B, they signed T. Higgins because he asked them to, C, they also signed Jamar Chase because they asked him to. Meanwhile, their best defensive player is begging for a couple extra bucks. And they won't give it to him.
I'm good.
Right?
He don't need money.
And I'm like, you're miserable, Joe Burrow. Miserable Joe Burrow. And you brought that attitude into the locker room and onto the field. And at some point, you got to be held accountable also, because 5 years into his career, all we've ever heard about Joe Burrow is how great Joe Burrow is. And let me just say this. He's a friend of the program. But I got to call it the way it is. I don't curry favors to friends of the program. If you play like crap, that's my job. You played like crap. Doesn't mean we can't have dinner tonight. Doesn't mean you can't be upset with me for calling it the way it is. But that's the way it is. Joe Burrow's part of the problem. A, he's never on the field. And B, he brings this sourpuss attitude onto the field yesterday. The Bengals had no chance with that attitude.
No chance. And now he's going to miss the playoffs for the third straight year at that price. And this is year 6. He's only been in the playoffs twice. What are they paying for?
Well, and that's the whole point.
What are they
Joe
paying
Burrow,
for?
when he's healthy, is a great quarterback, but it hasn't equated to championships. Remember a couple years ago when they were so cocky in Cincinnati? They were referring to Arrowhead as Burrowhead Stadium?
Yeah.
Burrowhead. Another brain dead fan base in the NFL. Burrowhead.
Super Bowl MVP, multiple Super Bowl chances there, Super Bowl championship as they got it. Nick Sirianni said on the radio, no chance that Jalen Hurts is going to be benched. But by the way, Jalen Hurts didn't play the last 3 games. I think the Eagles would be 3-0 in those games, though. Just saying, Joe.
Oh, wow. How the mighty have fallen. When the Eagles fans turn on their quarterback, it's getting ugly in Philly, folks.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
They're doing a new show about a Japanese interpreter.
Oh, they are?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, they're doing like I don't know if it's a documentary or like actors are in it.
It's got to.
I think it's a drama.
It's a real show.
It's like a scripted show.
Yeah.
About a Japanese interpreter.
Yes.
I wonder who's getting paid for that.
The Craig Carton Show, only on SportsGrid.
You're legendary. I'm legendary. And both of these guys love each other. Right? Cam Ward, they do. They work out. They work out. Legendary.
Go ahead.
Cam Ward.
Yep.
Shedeur Sanders.
Yep.
250 plus and 2 tutties each.
Amazing. That's nuts.
What? Why is it nuts?
Come on, that's crazy.
Why though?
Pro Football Today, only on SportsGrid.
I think this is a very tough one. I haven't bet this because I still think it's that close. I would lean towards the sentiment of the voter body instead of the anointing of the new star. But at a certain point, the next 2 weeks, Drake May could be undeniable. It's really interesting market right for those two. And remember when Matthew Stafford wasn't going to play all year? Remember in August where he wasn't practicing, and now he is number 2 for MVP. So go figure.
Fantasy Sports Today, only on SportsGrid.
All right, welcome back to the Craig Carton Show. Sad news out in L.A. Famed director and former actor, by the way, Rob Reiner, and his wife were murdered, allegedly by their own son last night. So obviously send thoughts and prayers out to the Reiners. Yeah. And we just were thinking, like everyone else in America is today because of his passing, do you have a favorite Rob Reiner movie? And to me, it's one of two.
Okay.
One of three.
All right, what are the three?
And I don't think you could debate these three.
Okay.
There's A Few Good Men.
Yes.
Which people forget that he directed.
Yes, he did. Right. And it's a great movie and very rewatchable.
Harry Met Sally.
Yep.
And Princess Bride.
And those are your three.
Like what else would you even put in there?
A lot of people my age would put Stand By Me in that mix as well.
Stand By Me, solid.
In that mix as well.
Again,
especially depending on the age when you first see it.
I guess if you go Mount Rushmore, you get one more. You could throw that bad boy in there. And everybody forgets that he was Meathead in
All in the Family.
All in the Family, which is arguably the greatest sitcom of all time.
It's in the mix, yeah.
Yeah, I think if you had to pick just one Rob Reiner flick, and you can only pick one that you like, Deserted Island, you get one movie, it's got to be a Rob Reiner flick.
It's A Few Good Men.
I think it's A Few Good Men.
It's A Few Good Men. I mean, it's A Few Good Men.
Yeah.
And are you kidding me?
Yeah.
And it's tremendous.
Now, Harry Met Sally is awesome. Princess Bride is awesome.
Right.
And what was the other one? Oh, and Stand By Me, awesome.
Yeah.
Coming of age movie, the dead body, all that stuff, right?
Now, Spinal Tap also, a lot of people love Spinal Tap.
So Spinal Tap, if you grew up in the 70s, Spinal Tap was that kind of, you couldn't be cool or hip with your buddies if you hadn't seen Spinal Tap yet.
There you go.
It was one of those movies like, hey, did you see Spinal Tap? And if you were like, no, I didn't see it, you were a loser. Mm-hmm. Maybe the most overrated movie of all time.
Oh, see, I don't agree with that.
Yeah,
maybe. I don't agree with that.
Maybe the most overrated movie of all time. But for a generation, it was the movie.
Right.
It was the go-to movie. I think I'd have to go Few Good Men, though.
Yeah, I would go A Few Good Men.
I think it's that because there's so many great scenes that we've all memorized every word of.
Right.
While Princess Bride has that too.
It does. And when Harry Met Sally has one of the more iconic scenes.
But the orgasm scene in the deli.
Yeah.
Right. But I hate to tell you this. I've gone back recently and watched that scene.
Yeah.
Not nearly as good as you remember it.
Well, that's because
it's like Jaws. It's like, you go back now and you watch Jaws and you're like, that's the fakest looking shark I've ever seen.
Yeah.
But in the 70s, or you probably watched in the 80s.
I watched it in the 80s.
It was like, oh my God, I'm terrified. I'm never going in the ocean again.
People were afraid to go in a pool because of it.
So when Harry Met Sally, the orgasm scene in the deli, it's not as good today as it was when you watched it 25 years ago.
Now, I'm a kid. My parents don't explain
I'll have
to
what
me.
she's having.
I had no experience in that area when I first see that movie, so I don't know. Do you go back because you're now, you have 4 kids. Right. Say it's safest way possible.
Okay, it's okay.
But because you have 4 children and you made them.
No, I went
Is
back.
that why
No.
it's like that?
No, because I'm older.
Okay.
Like, I'll give you this. Like, when you watch that movie when you're 20, you're like, that's the goal.
Right.
That's the goal. You're single. You're somewhat inexperienced based on what life will bring you.
Right, that's what I mean.
And you want somebody to do that.
Right.
In the right moment.
Right.
In the right moment. When you're 50... if you haven't gotten there yet, you probably aren't getting there.
I've done all I can do. I don't have more.
I only got what I got.
That's just all, I don't have another gear.
I'm not learning a new trick.
Nope. No. You've done everything you're going to do.
All right. So
but that is very sad. And,
yeah, it's terrible. His own son did it. Their own son.
Yeah, and there's all this speculation. And one thing that has been confirmed was the son did have a history with addiction.
Addiction.
And perhaps mental illness, self-medicated.
And the daughter found them. It's a sick, terrible story.
Terrible story.
I know more details are going to come out about it. This is a terrible segue. I apologize. Just the way it goes.
Good one. There's no good one though.
But I can't even say it. I can't even say it.
Sure, you can't say it.
Okay, I'll say it. You know what else? I can't say it.
You can say it.
I can't
We're
say it.
We're going to run out of time.
All right. You know who else had a bad day yesterday?
Oh my goodness. Okay. All right. I didn't expect you to go there.
You can't say it like that.
All right.
You can't. Yeah, you
He had
can't.
a better day, but also poor.
All things comparable, he had a great day yesterday. Can we now agree that Shedeur Sanders can't play quarterback?
No, I'm not doing this with you every week. He stunk yesterday.
Yeah, he hasn't won a game yet. He stunk yesterday.
I'm not doing this with you, though.
3 picks, no touchdowns, sacked 5 times. And on that last play, the game's already over.
Yeah.
The 4th down play, when he's got dude wide open in front of him and he takes his 5th sack, look at that stat right there.
Yeah.
If he had just spiked the ball on every play, he'd have a better quarterback rating than compared to what he did do.
Yeah. 2 of the interceptions, 100% on him.
And now who are we going to blame now?
No, he played poorly.
Now whose fault is it?
But I'm not riding a roller coaster. He played terrible.
Good.
I'm not riding a roller coaster every week.
I guess it's Stefanski's fault because he played him against a real NFL team.
No,
is that the deal now?
He intentionally gave him a fake wristband.
Stop.
What are you giving him with the old plays?
Anyhow, 177 yards, 3 picks, no touchdowns, 5 sacks. The Shedeur experiment, we've gotten to our conclusion. Not very good.
Be interesting to see in that Big 12. We keep talking about it. With Houston, with Iowa State, with Kansas, with BYU. They're going to be battle tested, but so is the rest of that league. And man, that is going to be fun to watch.
College basketball today, only on SportsGrid.
There are a million ways to make money on this. There really is. Right? Like, I sit back. We've given you a couple of ours that we've given you. I think they're all going to win, essentially. The gold one, the Google Views one. The only one I might not win, Cam, that I gave people was, will the U.S. government announce that aliens exist in 2026?
In-game live, only on SportsGrid.
Super Bowl MVP, multiple Super Bowl chances there, Super Bowl championship as they got it. Nick Sirianni said on the radio, no chance that Jalen Hurts is going to be benched. But by the way, Jalen Hurts didn't play the last 3 games. I think the Eagles would be 3-0 in those games, though. Just saying, Joe.
Oh, wow. How the mighty have fallen. When the Eagles fans turn on their quarterback, it's getting ugly in Philly, folks.
The early line, only on SportsGrid.
Football contest season is back, and so is the Las Vegas Football Contest Show, Season 2, the sharpest football contest show in the land. Focusing on all 3 Circus Sports contests and the Westgate Superbook Super Contest, we handicap the games and release our contest picks every week of the season. Featuring Super Contest champions Brady Cannon, James Salinas, and former NFL player Mike Pritchard, all team will have you prepared this season like none other. Check us out every weekend right here on SportsGrid.
Welcome back to the Craig Carton Show. Tyrone Johnson here as always. We're here all week, by the way, so as you get ready for your holiday vacations and parties and whatnot, just know that we'll join you every single day this week all together. And then we have some vacation, at least I do. Next week, Tyrone will be here, and I'll be back prior to New Year's. We'll all be together again the last week of December as we get into 2026. You know, let's play a little guessing game here. What team that's kind of on the playoff bubble, and there's a few of them obviously still left, that hasn't been eliminated just yet, would you and I agree on you can't take this team seriously?
You can't take them seriously.
Yeah, and I have a team in mind. So
okay.
You may have another one that I agree with you on.
No, I had a different one until yesterday.
I want you to guess who I'm thinking. There's a team on the bubble that after yesterday, you just cannot take this team seriously.
You're talking about the Carolina Panthers?
I'm not, but that's a great answer.
Because they lose to the Saints, and I'm done with them. I tried. I tried to believe in them. I'm done with them.
Yep, and they brought Tampa right back into the playoffs. Yeah. Tampa's now obviously the division lead because of the tiebreaker. 17 points is all you can muster against the Saints, who, by the way, to their credit, have really played spoiler here.
They've won 3 of 5.
They knocked Tampa out.
Yep, they won 3 of 5.
Then they bring Tampa back in by knocking Carolina out. Yeah, that's a decent run here for the New Orleans Saints, and that'd be a great answer. Not where my brain was. So you want to take one more guess?
Okay, I'll go.
Cannot take this team seriously. And by the way, you never can.
Oh, you never can? Cowboys?
Yeah, the Dallas Cowboys.
All right, never can. Yeah.
Like the Dallas Cowboys got all the gifts they needed yesterday.
Yep.
All right, they get the Detroit Lions lose to the Rams. All right, the Eagle game really didn't wind up not mattering. They blow the Raiders out 31-0. But the Lions losing that game at least would have kept the Cowboys alive. The best ways to win the division, that's not completely off the table. But, man, you're playing the Minnesota Vikings and J.J. McCarthy. J.J. McCarthy has looked like one of the biggest mistakes in that draft 2 years ago of any guy picked. And I'm saying that respectfully. I know he's essentially a rookie quarterback, and you got to give him some grace in year one. But the Vikings have been a train wreck with J.J. McCarthy at quarterback. You get to 6-1, all right? You've got a shot now, depending on what the Lions do, to stay alive for the 7th seed. The Eagles game notwithstanding, we knew they were going to beat the Raiders, so the division's still a very tough putt for them, but you would have stayed alive, right? And all you had to do, and I say all you had to do, respectfully to Minnesota, is beat a team that has had zero offense with J.J. McCarthy throughout this entire year. They don't even want to play J.J. McCarthy, but because their season's over, they've got no choice. Let's see what the kid's got, right? Defensively, we all love Coach Flores. Not great lately. And that, of course, is more a byproduct that their offense is stunk, so they're on the field a lot.
So much,
and
right.
they, et cetera, right? But and I say all you have to do is beat the Vikings because everybody beats the Vikings this year, and the games are not all that competitive.
No.
Because J.J. McCarthy, not a good quarterback.
As bad as the Eagles' offense has been, Jalen Hurts had a perfect QB rating against the Vikings, to give you an idea of just how it's been.
Which is really all you need to know. And then you give up 34 points. You give up 34 points to the Minnesota Vikings in your own building, at home, with children watching. You put up that kind of a performance, and I'm sorry, man. Like, Dak Prescott has been the highest paid quarterback in the last 5 years, aggregate, when you add it up, right?
Ever.
Yeah, in the history of football. You've never been to an NFC championship game, obviously by product. You've never been to a Super Bowl. You're not making the playoffs this year because every time the football gods give you a gift, you don't take advantage of it. Self-inflicted wounds all over the place. You know, you gave up 34 points to a bad offensive team. And offensively, you were nowhere in the second half, scored 9 points in total, obviously settled for a couple field goals in the red zone, and didn't take advantage of the opportunities you had to match the Vikings score for score. But at what point is the rest of the world going to wake up to something that you and I have known for a long time? You're never going to be able to trust the Dallas Cowboys. Dak Prescott's a top 10 quarterback. Dak Prescott a couple years ago was runner-up for MVP and led the league in every offensive output against every quarterback in football. Dak Prescott is a very good quarterback. You've got two of the best wide receivers in all of football right now in CeeDee Lamb and Pickens. You've got a 1,000-yard runner, which you haven't had in forever, it seems like, in Dallas. You got better on defense with the trade with the New York Jets and bringing Quentin Williams in here, who had the interception yesterday and led them on a scoring drive. So you actually have the pieces to at least make the playoffs.
In theory.
Right?
In theory.
But you cannot trust the Dallas Cowboys. And to me, it starts and ends with a guy I adore. I want to be clear. Every time I talk about this guy negatively, I feel I need to remind everybody he's my favorite owner. He's my favorite owner in football. I wish he owned my New York Jets. And yet, you can't trust the Dallas Cowboys because you can't trust Jerry Jones. And I have another question for you. While I'm watching that game, I saw something a little fishy going on in that game. And I'd like an answer to you, please.
All right.
For those of you that cover the Dallas Cowboys, or hopefully you'll spread this amongst Cowboy fans so we get ourselves an answer. I'm watching the game as I do, as I like to do on a Sunday. I red zone it. I want to see what the Dallas Cowboys are all about. All right? And the Dallas Cowboys, I didn't red zone it. It was the Sunday night game.
Yeah, I understood where you were going.
Flow. Don't get my, you didn't red zone it. You understand what I'm saying, right?
Yeah, I know where you're going.
All right. And I see Jerry Jones' son. I believe his name is Steven.
It is.
And he's in the box with Jerry Jones.
Steven with a PH.
Now, you have to know about that box, the Jerry Jones box. Quick little factoid, many people don't know. It's a double-decker box.
It is.
And during the game, women are not allowed in the lower level.
Huh?
It is a man-only box.
Oh.
Women are not allowed in the lower levels.
For the fellas.
That's just for the fellas.
Okay.
All right? So you'll never see a woman in the lower part of that double-decker box. That's a true story.
Okay.
All right? Just fact check me on it. You lose, I win. But here's something I've never noticed before.
All right.
In an embarrassing loss to the Vikings at home, 34-26, there was a point in the game where they showed the box.
Mm-hmm.
And I see Stephen Jones on a walkie-talkie.
What?
And I'm trying to figure out, and if you guys can find a clip of it, please do. I'm trying to figure out who would Stephen Jones be walkie-talkieing during the game.
Uh-huh.
Because you're not allowed to be talking to the sideline. That's like an NFL rule.
Yes.
All right.
He would get a lot of trouble.
Yeah, a lot of trouble for that.
Lose draft picks.
I'm going to assume he's not talking to the head coach.
Right.
I'm assuming maybe he's talking to a trainer, about an injury maybe that could have happened. Or what's the status? 10-4, good buddy. What's the status of number 3? Whatever it might be, right?
Yeah.
Roger. We got the left flank here. Steve, we have a torn ACL back out here. Yeah, I mean.
Now he's doing long haul trucking.
Yeah.
CB,
breaker 39, breaker 30. What's the status of 14?
He's a Smokey and the Bandit. All right.
I've never seen that before.
Me neither.
And I know you guys obviously didn't pick it up, which is why I'm special and why you have to, watch every minute of every game to do your job well.
This happened, but go ahead.
I verified it, right?
I don't know.
I verified it with my eyeballs, which now work great. I have 20/15 vision. Thank you, Dr. Najarian. I got the cataract fixed. I'm seeing like a marksman right now, okay?
All right.
That being said, why is Stephen Jones on a walkie-talkie during the 34-26 loss from the Dallas Cowboys to the Minnesota Vikings? Anybody have any answers? Because you're not allowed to be talking to the sideline. And who else would you be talking to but the sideline? Right?
Well, it is.
Bang! There it is. Thank you, boys. Great job getting that. Who's he talking to?
Is he talking to a woman in the other level?
No.
He's not talking to a girl?
You got cell phones for that. You got cell phones for that. So he's right next to Jerry right there.
Yeah.
Now his drink's almost empty. So could he be talking to a waitress? I'll take another Captain and Coke.
That's definitely not water. That's definitely not water. That's not water.
That might be Coke or Pepsi.
It's not water.
It ain't water.
Not water.
Right. 14 blue. Grand Marnier in the owner's box stat. I just want to know, because whoever he walkie-talkied, it didn't help the Cowboys win.
No, it didn't. No. Whoever it is might be fired today.
Like whatever information he was gunning for him, he didn't get it. It didn't work out. But yeah, the Dallas Cowboys are a joke, man. And I think it's time we start treating them like a joke. Like, they're not very good. They kind of tease you. Oh, maybe we'll be 500. Oh, maybe we'll squeeze in, that kind of thing. But at the end of the day, not a good franchise. Can't take them seriously. Can't trust them. And it's another year without a playoff game in Big D. But what was he doing on that walkie-talkie?
There are a million ways to make money on this. There really is. Right? Like, I sit back. We've given you a couple of ours that we've given you. I think they're all going to win, essentially. The gold one, the Google Views one. The only one I might not win, Cam, that I gave people was, will the U.S. government announce that aliens exist in 2026?
In-game live, only on SportsGrid.
Here's the problem. When Joe Dumars blows it up and trades Zion, who is going to give them anything more than 25 cents on the dollar for a damaged goods superstar who misses significant time, who doesn't love the game, but is built like a freight train? Problems are in New Orleans, and I don't know how it gets fixed.
Pro basketball today, only on SportsGrid.
They're doing a new show about a Japanese interpreter.
Oh, they are?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, they're doing I don't know if it's a documentary or like actors are in it.
It's got to.
I think it's a drama.
It's a real show.
It's like a scripted show?
Yeah.
About a Japanese interpreter?
Yes.
I wonder who's getting paid for that.
The Craig Carton Show, only on SportsGrid.
Chris Beard said, I can just play different players. And kudos to Chris Beard. NIL does not matter. Recruiting rankings don't matter. Who your AAU coaches doesn't matter. At the end of the day as a coach, your loyalty is to your school. Your loyalty is to all the kids in the program.
College basketball today. Only on SportsGrid.
All right, welcome back. Some news and notes here on the Carton Show. We got Tyron Johnson here as well. You know, Patrick Mahomes, not the only big-time name in the NFL, out with the torn ACL. I don't think it's been officially confirmed, but it's been confirmed by, I guess, people close to the Green Bay Packers. Sadly, Micah Parsons also out with a torn ACL. Should be noted, both those injuries not on turf, both happened on grass. It was not the turf monster that got them. But yeah, that's something Jerry Jones kept saying. If I pay a guy and he gets hurt, then what? Remember he kept saying that about Micah?
Yeah.
Which is silly because you could say that about anybody.
Any player, right.
But that's a big blow to the Green Bay Packers. Obviously,
Yeah,
he made that defense formidable. They still have a good enough offense when they're on the money to beat a lot of teams. That was a bad loss, I thought, to the Denver Broncos yesterday. And Micah Parsons now out. Again, probably comes back, I would think, later than Mahomes does because of the position he plays. But you're still looking at, if you're lucky, late October for Micah Parsons.
Yeah, well,
and I think that's being gracious.
The key thing is the ACL is what every fan knows. There's obviously other parts to the knee.
Yes.
What else did he damage? If it's just the ACL, there is an outside chance October 1st for him. If it's more,
I still think it's unlikely, but you're right. Look,
you have to find, but we don't know.
And then when do they have the surgery? Is it right away? Do they wait for the swelling to come down? You know, the Achilles seems like to do that the very next day, and we all know that's still a full year anyway.
But that's the new innovation. They used to wait on those, and now the newest innovation is you must get the surgery quick.
Yeah, anyway, Micah Parsons is out. He's not going to be ready to start next season, so it's a major blow to the Green Bay Packers and their chances. By the way, not just of winning the division, but of even winning a playoff game and making a little mini run towards a Super Bowl. So that's that. I should mention to you very quickly that the Tampa Bay Buccaneers back in first place right now because Carolina lost to the New Orleans Saints. You can't trust them either. There's a whole bunch of teams out in the NFL that are good, that are going to get in, and you really just can't trust any of them, to be honest about it.
Can't trust them.
Then I got to go to this thing from Saturday. Yeah, I'm a big Heisman Trophy guy. I'm a big Army-Navy guy. I also saved you some money because you were going to make a terrible pick on that game, a game that you're not allowed to make picks on in my world. All right?
But I went 3-0, so I don't know what
you went 3-0.
I went 3-0.
As I'm Santa Claus.
I mean,
and you went 3-0. Okay? Because
Well,
I saved you from a loss. Because you were going to do the unthinkable, which is wager on the outcome of Army-Navy.
I was just trying to honor our
troops. You're all over
troops.
Navy.
Love the troops.
And as you saw online, people question your patriotism now.
They did.
And I'm with them on that.
Yeah, that was wrong. I feel like I couldn't help but feel set up for that.
But I'm
that's
watching the Heisman Trophy thing.
Yeah.
And we all know Mendoza's going to win it, and he wins it. And what a classy kid. And
it was great.
You know, and his mom and dad are there. He's got this special relationship with his mom.
Yeah.
Obviously, she's had some issues along the way, and he's a God-fearing kid, and all good.
Did a little Spanish for the grandfather who was an immigrant that came over.
I mean, perfect.
Perfect.
And then there's, what's it, Diego Pavia?
Pavia.
Pavia? Yo, my man.
Come on, bro. Come on, bro.
First off, I'm not sure if he was trying out for the Scarface sequel or the Jersey Shore sequel.
Oh, man.
But my man and his two brothers who were with him, first off, they did not take losing well.
No.
Once they lose to Mendoza, they go F all the voters. All right, but family for life. Okay, look, you're bitter. You lost.
But
now, the second thing you take out of that picture that maybe you didn't recognize watching him play because he was a damn good college quarterback.
Yeah.
All right. He's a little guy.
Yeah, now they list him as 6 foot.
6 foot my ass.
That's what I'm saying. He is not 6 foot.
Yeah.
When he goes to the Senior Bowl and they measure him and the combine and all that stuff, it's going to come out 5'9".
Yeah.
5'8".
That dude's just the Spanish Bryce Young. So that dude is right there. It's like I'm looking at it going, wait a minute. The guy on the left foot must be the quarterback.
Right.
He ain't the quarterback.
That guy's probably 6 foot.
Maybe the guy on the right's the quarterback. Now, he ain't the quarterback neither.
No.
The little guy in the middle.
Yeah,
So first he goes, F all the voters.
Uh-huh.
All right. Then him and his brothers and I guess their friends, they went clubbing.
They went to the club in New York. They're hanging out.
In New York City,
Yeah.
they're hanging out. Now, a lot of these clubs, if you're famous or you order an expensive bottle, they come along with like bells and whistles and streamers and fireworks and stuff. And a sign.
Yep, and you can put a lot of different things on that sign if you so choose.
It's a neon sign. They handwrite into it, and it's anything you want it to say. I don't know if we video that. You want to tell people what the sign said?
Well, we would be able to show it anyway. It said, bleep Indiana.
So he is not taking his loss one. I'm telling you something else he's doing. Look, I think his size is going to be his problem, and I think most NFL teams are going to pass on him because of his size. That being said, if you were considering bringing him in, and then you watched his behavior post losing the Heisman, he's undraftable now.
Yep.
Because we've seen other guys like him, and it never works out. And it's not like he's 6'6", 240, and he's got a howitzer for an arm, and he runs a 4.4. He's like He's like Johnny Manziel.
Less athletic, though.
And not as good.
Yeah, not as good, not as dynamic.
Right. Like Johnny won the Heisman. Right. All right. Johnny was a first-round draft pick.
He went on the road and beat Alabama.
Right.
He didn't lose to Texas like he did.
I'm telling you, it never works out. And when you contrast that to the Heisman Trophy winner, Mendoza, you see a classy kid.
6'5".
You see a kid who says all the right things. You see a kid who's also 6'5". He's got the body type of an NFL quarterback. And not that anyone was on the fence between them two. They weren't. Mendoza's the obvious number one pick in this draft, according to everything I read and
pretty much
what
everybody.
I've seen, at least my own two eyes.
Yep.
But Diego just killed himself. Diego just absolutely turned people off and made it very hard for you to sell a fan base on why he's your next quarterback.
And he was an underdog story. New Mexico State, he makes the transfer, had good enough grades to get to Vandy. People were, his likability was high.
Yeah.
He got too caught up with the bros. The podcast bros are now literally costing this kid maybe his career.
And by the way, what does it really cost you? Money. It costs you millions and millions of dollars, and that's what happened. And while all our focus, stay rightfully so, is on the NFL as we get only, after tonight's game, only 3 games left for everybody. We got Saturday football coming up this week as well, including your Eagles. But I do have to acknowledge we're 24 hours away, folks. We're 24 hours away from the New York Knicks, just like I told you they would. And they don't have to beat the Thunder to do it.
Nope.
Because the Spurs beat the Thunder, second loss of the year for Oklahoma City.
Wemby went crazy.
The Knicks beat Toronto, Orlando, dominated them. And maybe their best win of the year.
It was.
And now it's Knicks Spurs for the Cup tomorrow night. And I want all that Wemby smoke. I'll
get that banner ready, Madison Square Garden. Get that cup. Get that cup.
I told you we were going to win the cup, and now we're a day away from winning the cup tomorrow night. Must-see TV, Knicks and Spurs for the cup, and I'm here for all of it.
There are a million ways to make money on this. There really is, right? Like, I sit back. We've given you a couple of ours that we've given you. I think they're all going to win, essentially. The gold one, the Google Views one. The only one I might not win, Cam, that I gave people was, will the U.S. government announce that aliens exist in 2026?
In-game live, only on SportsGrid.
Here's the problem. When Joe Dumars blows it up and trades Zion, who is going to give them anything more than 25 cents on the dollar for a damaged goods superstar who misses significant time, who doesn't love the game, but is built like a freight train? Problems are in New Orleans, and I don't know how it gets fixed.
Pro basketball today, only on SportsGrid.
They're doing a new show about a Japanese interpreter.
Oh, they are?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, they're doing like, I don't know if it's a documentary or like actors are in it.
It's got to.
I think it's a drama.
It's a real show.
It's like a scripted show?
Yeah.
About a Japanese interpreter?
Yes.
I wonder who's getting paid for that.
The Craig Carton Show, only on SportsGrid.
Chris Beard said, I can just play different players. And kudos to Chris Beard. NIL does not matter. Recruiting rankings don't matter. Who your AAU coaches doesn't matter. At the end of the day as a coach, your loyalty is to your school. Your loyalty is to all the kids in the program.
College basketball today. Only on SportsGrid.
By the way, Diego Pavia did write out a long, lengthy apology to the Heisman voters. I have much love and respect for the Heisman voters and the selection process. I apologize for being disrespectful. It was a mistake, and I am sorry. I've been doubted my whole life. Every step of my journey, I've had to break down doors and fight for myself because I've learned that nothing would be handed to me. My family's always been in my corner, and blah, 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 blah. All right, look, listen. When you're allowed to make a mistake when you're 20, and you're allowed to apologize for the mistake.
Yeah.
But what he needs to know, it cost him a lot of money. And he's sadly going to learn that the hard way. I don't think he gets drafted.
I think he goes undrafted. Now,
I think he's an undrafted free agent in April.
Yeah.
Because it's number one, I ain't drafted a 5'9" quarterback anyway.
Mm-hmm.
I'm certainly not drafting a 5'9" quarterback who's got an attitude.
Right.
I ain't doing that.
Absolutely.
I don't need it. How come I'm not playing? It's like Spanish Shedeur.
He's way worse than Shedeur. Shedeur never did anything like this. He's what people think Shedeur is.
Yeah.
This dude's far worse than
18
Shedeur.
of 35, 3 picks, 5 sacks, no touchdowns, a 31-3 loss. I was looking for Tyrone because you're a big Shedeur guy.
I never said that.
How many wins do the Browns have with Shedeur at starting quarterback? Hold on a second. I'm sure it's here somewhere. Sure it's here. Wait a minute. No, they lost. No. I cannot find a single win this year with Shedeur Sanders as the starting quarterback, and I'm trying to figure out all the lunatic Shedeur stands out there.
Yeah.
Who do they blame for yesterday's performance? Because it ain't ever his fault.
Well, you got to blame
I'm just
Shedeur.
asking.
You got to blame Shedeur. When Shedeur plays well like he did the week before,
You give him credit.
He deserves credit.
He had 360 yards. We give him
Right.
credit.
And
even named him AFC Player of the Week.
Right. This week it's on him. And I saw it coming. To me, this was a whole different level of class. And playing in that weather in the NFL.
Oh, you can't play him against a good team in the cold. That's not fair.
Well, you have to. How's he going to? He plays for Cleveland. He's going to have to get used to it.
You want to be the Browns starting quarterback? It's going to be cold.
Now take your lumps. Now what I'm interested in seeing is, in all seriousness, beyond all the jokes, which I enjoy, is how he bounces back from it. Because he said all the right things after the game, but is he going to show up with an attitude?
I don't think who do they play this week? It don't get any easier.
No, it doesn't get
Their
easier.
schedule's tough the final 3 weeks of the season.
No, they play the Bills.
Yeah.
And then they play the Steelers. Then they play the Bengals. So he has one soft touch.
He has one chance to win a game this year.
One chance, yeah.
One chance to win a game.
Now, it is probably good that you're getting the Bills off a win.
Little letdown situation.
Bills are still going to win the game, but you're more likely to be competitive.
I think this is right for a Bills letdown, sure.
Yeah, so I think that's a good
Come off
timing.
a division win, get within a game of the division.
Yeah.
Maybe have New England reeling a little bit, and you have a team you know you're better than. Yeah. I think they should still beat them by 30.
Yeah, they'll still win him. I think the early line's like 10.5.
Yeah,
but I'm interested because he's going to play it out. I just want to play it out and see what he has.
Well, and then you have tonight's game, which is actually an interesting game because Miami's now made things interesting.
They have.
You know, if Miami beats Pittsburgh, here's what happens. The Steelers now on the outside looking in, and they lose. Look, you have to win the division to get in.
Yeah.
Obviously, Miami has an outside road. If they win out and get to 10-7,
they need the Texans
mathematically
to lose.
they could get there.
Yeah.
But the way the Texans are playing, that's not likely. So this is just more for, hey, we're playing for our coach and whatever changes he made, they've worked. And go into next year with a good feeling and a new GM, picking better talent. And Mike McDaniel, keeps his job for another year.
Yeah.
So there's a lot to play for.
They have not quit on him. Credit to him. They have not quit on him.
Nope, they've not quit. They have a chance to get to 500. Then a chance, obviously, to get beyond 500 this year and really play sport because I don't see a road for them to get in. But here's what's interesting. Aaron Rodgers and the Steelers, this is a must-win game for them. They have to win this game. They have to maintain a one-game lead over Baltimore before they play that last game of the season. Obviously, tiebreakers can change based on division record, etc., but they can't afford another loss.
No.
Because they've got that game in hand right now against the Baltimore Ravens. If the Miami Dolphins win tonight, then you're chasing. Then you're on the outside looking in, and then major changes happen in Pittsburgh.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I'm not bringing Aaron Rodgers back, am I?
No.
I don't know. Is Mike Tomlin coming back?
No.
I think this would be the craziest offseason in Pittsburgh Steeler history if they lose this game and don't wind up winning the division, which I don't think they will, if they lose this game and don't get in. They're going to be a team that for the first time in 2 decades will be looking for a new head coach, and for the umpteenth time since they got Ben Roethlisberger retired, looking for a new starting quarterback.
Yeah.
Tonight's a playoff game.
It is.
For the Steelers. The Dolphins cannot get in. I know mathematically they can. They're down 2 games to the Texans, and the Texans are playing great football right now.
Right.
Highly unlikely they make that gap up. But they're playing to knock the Steelers out, I can tell you that.
And Giants fans, you should be rooting against the Steelers because a lot of Giants fans want Tomlin as their next coach.
Yeah.
They need to lose for that to happen.
That's true, too. I think, you're begging if you think Mike Tomlin's going to New York, but if he gets fired, why wouldn't he? Appreciate you watching. Have yourselves a great day. We'll do it again tomorrow as we start the coronation of the New York Knicks as Emirates Cup champions. It's all tomorrow right here on Sports Grid.